There's some serious changes being made around here. Hey guys, how y'all doing out there? It's time for another What's New Plus review from Pinnacle Studio Pro. We're going to talk about the new changes under the hood. We're going to get at you with the new user interface love, and then some of the new effects that are brought to you, and then I'll go through the whole review for all the newbies out there. Let's jump into the software. Pinnacle Studio 18 is officially in the building, and I'm going to tell you what's new. Let's start off with what's under the hood, and you're going to love it. It's 64-bit, native 64-bit architecture. Now, previous versions of Pinnacle Studio were optimized for 64-bit performance. This one has it built in, baby. And what that means to you is you're going to get more speed and more responsiveness. I'm going to tell you, I've been playing around with this, and I'm loving the speed, all right? It's all that in a bag of Chips Ahoy. You're gonna love the speed. Now, especially if you're making like multi-track videos with effects and different clips and things like that, the rendering's faster. It's just more streamlined. It just feels like I'm speeding along. And this 64-bit architecture helps you because it takes full advantage of your PC's processing power and your memory. And you're gonna want to give the people at Pinnacle Corel a hug. Okay? I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna want to hug them. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something that you'll be able to see when you export a video. So let me drag something down into the timeline real quick. And I'm going to go over to export. And what you'll see is that we now have, if you go to File, got a new type here. It's Sony XAVCS. So that is a new file format that's based off of MP4 and AVC HD or H.264. that gives you 4K resolution. So basically, you're going to be able to take advantage of the new file format that's out there. It's on a lot of the Sony cameras right now, and it's being used on a lot of newer cameras as well. This is a great file format for 4K. Makes beautiful pictures. You'll love them. Let's move on. Let's get to talking a little bit about the interface. There's some changes in the interface that makes it just make sense. First of all, here's a picture of Pinnacle Studio 17. And you'll notice that in this picture, there's some buttons that aren't in the picture of Pinnacle Studio 18. What the guys over at Pinnacle did is they made the workflow make more sense. Let me give you an example. Let's jump back into Pinnacle Studio 18 here. So if I go over to the Organize tab, you'll see the import button, see the group by button, and the sort by button. It makes sense that they are only visible under the Organize tab because this is where you do all of those things. All right. If you go back to the Edit tab, you'll notice that those icons or buttons are no longer there. It just makes more sense the way that they have it built out. I'm going to do a quick import here and show you another feature that I like. If I right click on here and I do quick import, and this also works if you add new media to any of your watch folders, it'll do the same thing that I'm about to show you in a second. Let's just go ahead and import this file here, and I'm going to click on open. And it opened up my latest collection of imports. I'm going to close that. It also added a button here. So anything that gets added to your watch folders, or you import, or you quick import, you'll get a button here that will take you directly to just that file or those files that you imported. So if I click on that, boom, takes me right there. There's the file. So that's great if you just imported something from a camera, or if you just imported some files and you just want to jump right to those. That's a great way to get right to those files. Once again, speeding up the workflow, doing it for you big time in Pinnacle Studio 18. Now, since we're looking at these tabs, let's talk about something different with the tabs. Before, with the tabs, they all had the little line depending on what you were doing. Let's say that I opened up a new, I don't know, something that's not media. Let's go to My effects compositions. You'll see that it now highlights the tab that you're on, so you know exactly which tab you're in. The other version didn't do that. It kind of stood out a little bit and it was a little darker shade, but now you actually get the color that corresponds to the type of media, and you know which one of these tabs you're in because the color is showing there. So once again, speeding up your workflows. You don't got to click through all the tabs to figure out which one you're in and which one you're not. Love it. I just love it. Now let's talk about some other little things here that it's bringing to the table. Another thing that I love about the new features is the mark in and mark out on the timeline. So now on the toolbar, you got an option to mark in, mark out, and then remove any mark in or mark outs that you have. Now, the advantage of that is this. If I click on export here, on the previous versions of Pinnacle Studio, when you wanted to change the, I guess, the sections of the video that's being exported, you can come here to the export tab and you can drag your mark in and you can drag your mark out. But basically, you'd have to like be watching every frame of the video here through the preview to figure out where you wanted to mark in and mark out for the most part. Now you can do it in the timeline. So let's move these back and close this out. If I put my playhead somewhere, let's say there was a specific video clip or a split in a clip that I wanted to start at, or a timeline marker that I clicked on and brought my playhead to that I wanted to start my export at, I could just move my playhead to that position or click on that clip or click on that timeline marker and then click on mark in. It automatically adds the mark in point for what we'll export. Let's say I wanted to change where I wanted to stop the video. I can put my playhead at that position and hit mark out. Now, when I hit export, it's going to automatically transfer over the mark in and mark out to this, and I don't have to worry about dragging it frame by frame to find out where I want it to start or stop. I love that feature. All right, close this out. Take those off. Let's talk about the live screen capture. Everybody loved the live screen capture that came with Pinnacle Studio 17, and you're gonna like the one in 18 even more because now you get to actually choose which audio or both audio sources that come out through the screen capture. And what I mean by that is this. If you go to the start menu, go to all programs, go to Pinnacle Studio 18, you can open the live screen capturing. Click on settings. And now you get the option of turning on or off the system audio and any voice audio. So this means that you can capture both. You can do neither. You can do one or the other. Easy. Also, the format. So you got your Windows Media video format now. And this format actually makes it easier to integrate into more different types of programs. All right, that way you don't got problems, you know, presenting in a, I guess, in a PowerPoint presentation or things like that. It just makes it easier for you to move the file around. All right, okay, let's move on, people. So I'm gonna close this out. Next thing I want to talk about is some royalty-free music. Now, you all know that we got Score Fitter, all right? Comes with Pinnacle Studio 18, but there's another new music option that you're going to get. If we go to the Start button, go to All Programs, Pinnacle Studio 18, you'll see Triple Scoop Music. If I click on that, it opens up a window with 17 royalty-free music tracks from Triple Scoop Music. This can be used to help with the mood, help with your videos, help them be more professional. 17 royalty-free tracks. Use them how you want to, people. Use them how you want to. Let's get out of here. All right, you guys know I love making effects. Pinnacle Studio 18 has brought some new fire with some extra effects for you to use. So if I right click on this clip and go to Open Effects Editor, under add-ons, you got some new add-on love. New blue effects, baby. Stepping into the game with Pinnacle Studio 18. So you got film effects. So you got film camera, film color, film damage, film express, film pro. You got the new blue stabilizer. Now, for those of you who don't know, the stabilizer helps to correct any shaky footage that you might have due to action sports, GoPro videos, or just shooting handheld. This is going to help to stabilize that footage and make it look beautiful. All right. So now you get some Video Essentials love. We got Video Essentials 2, 6, and 7. So you got the chroma key, color equalizer, color swap, lens correction, letterbox, noise reducer, picture-in-picture, rack focus, shadows, and highlights, and vignette. Those are all useful features. All right. You got new blue Video Essentials 6. You got chroma key, color replace, cutaway, garbage matte, picture grid, picture in shape, saturation equalizer, saturation modifier, thank you, selective touch up, and tile. And then last but not least, for new blue, we got auto pan, detail by chroma, detail by luma, flying PIP, gamma correction, gradient fill, legal level, quick pixelator, and region scope. And even with all of the new blue love that you're getting, you still got Red Giant Filmmaker Toolkit with Cosmo, Magic Bullet, and Mojo. And you still got Red Giant Motion Graphics Toolkit with no particular reflections, shadows, and shine. That's a lot of add-ons and plugins, all right? And they will be quite useful depending on how you plan on using the software. Now that we're done going over what's new, let's get into the rest of the review for all of the noobs out there. If you're not a noob, you can get out of here, or you can stick around and have a little bit of fun with us. Let's roll. So under our file menu, we have the ability to start a new movie or disc. We can open projects. We can open a recent project, save a movie. Now remember, when you save a movie, you're just saving a file that can be opened up in the program again. You're not saving a movie to view on your computer or on a disc or on anything. This is just saving your project so that you can open it up later in Pinnacle Studio. You got save movie as a package, create disc project, close movie, all this lovely stuff. Import previous projects, import from an iPad project, quick import, export, burn disk, and quit Pinnacle Studio. Under edit, we got the simple editing tools: undo, redo, cut, copy, paste. Then you also have your undo and redo buttons here. Under your setup, you have your control panel. This is where you control all the different parts of the software. Watch folders are the life of this program. What it means to you is that if you place files in watch folders, you don't have to import them later. Pinnacle Studio always looks at these watch folders and updates the organized or the library of Pinnacle Studio with all of the files that you add there, whether it's videos, photos, music, sound effects, whatever it might be. It always watches these folders and makes them available to you in Pinnacle Studio every time you open it up. It's one of my favorite features of the software. Then you got your audio device. You can choose the default audio device. You got the event log to tell you about all the stuff you've done, any errors that happen, things like that. You got your export and preview. I talk about how to do your render settings in my render setting video, so check that out if you want your videos to render quick, fast, in a hurry. You got your import settings from which directory or folders or subfolders you import from. You got your keyboard shortcuts here, project settings. This is important. Every time you set up a project, you might want to give this a look. Basically, this will tell you how things are going to be set up from your timeline. Usually what it does, it automatically recognizes from the first clip that you put in there, but it's always best to just put it on the type of project settings that you want based on the resolution and the frame rate of your video clips. You got your default durations for things like your titles, stills, transitions, ruler zooming, and your trim mode. And then you got your storage locations, and these are the places that all of the things that you save, where they go to, whether it's a project that you're saving, a movie that you're saving. If you create a title and you save it, any effects that you save, menus you save, all that stuff, this tells you where they are. And then your render files. This is important because if you are having errors and you can't get your project to do certain things, you might want to delete the render files and let everything render again, because there may have been an error or there may be something corrupt in those files. So this is important to know what this is. All right. Then you got your eStore. You can go and get plugins, transitions, all this good stuff you can buy for the program. Now we're in the edit tab. I'm going to jump over to the organize tab real quick. Under the organize tab, this is where you have all of your media, and you can view it all in one place without having to go and hover over the navigation bar on the left. You can basically see everything that you got from here, and you can access all of your files from here easily just by clicking on them. If you go to video, and you just see all the videos, so you can see all of the files that the watch folder is looking at. These are all the files that are located in those locations. So it's a quick place to get to those files. There's a lot of stuff you could do with it. I'm not going into all of that right now. If I go over to the edit tab, this is where all the magic happens. Really, it's in the edit tab and the author tab, because almost everything you can do in the edit tab, you can do in the author tab as well. And the edit tab is basically just for editing your videos, putting your files together, splitting them, trimming them, looking at them in the preview window, doing your mark in, mark outs, adding titles, adding effects, changing the volume. This is where all of those things happen. All right. Then you got your author tab. I'll just say, yes, I want to create a disc project. And in the author tab, this is basically where you create your disc menus, the sub menus, and also you can still do all your editing. As you can see, you still can see your timeline down here, and you can still do all the same editing that you could do in the edit tab under the author tab. It's just that you could do it all at once and set up your disc and all those things and your chapters and all of that from this location. And you got your import tab. On your import tab, you can basically import media from different devices, whether it be a webcam, your computer, Blu-ray. You can scan for assets. You can do stop motion animation from here. You can take snapshots of any of your media from here. There's a lot more to it, but I'm not going to get into all of that right now. I'll talk about all of that in my Studio 17 and Studio 16 reviews. If you want more in-depth information, go check them out there. And then you also got your export tab. So in your export tab, you have all the different ways that you can export a file. Whenever you want to have a movie that you can view on a different device, you have to export it. And you go to the export tab to get that done. You can export it as a file. And there are several different settings or types for the files here that you can see. You could just do the audio if you want. AVI, DivX, 3GPP. Flash video, that's pretty cool for Adobe. You got image sequence, MOV movie. You got all your MPEG file formats. You got smart movies. You got the Sony XAVC that we talked about. Transport stream, which is basically MTS or like for Blu-ray disc. And then you got Windows media files. Under disc, you got the different type of disc that you can do. AVC HD, AVC HD2, Blu-ray disc, DVD. Of course, you got to have a cloud. You got to go directly to Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and then the different devices that you can go ahead and create files for as well. And also when you go through these, you got your advanced settings. If you click on advanced, You can see the frame rate. You can see the audio. You can see the resolution. You can see all the information that you need to know about the video. And you can also make adjustments to the different categories from here if you wish to do so. One of the things that you might want to keep in mind is if you're having problems exporting a file or making a DVD, if you come to advanced and go to pre-processing, you can do render completely before export. Usually helps to clean things up. Usually its default is set to automatic. I'm going to go back to the edit tab and close out this menu here. Now, there's a lot of other things that the program can do for you. I'll go over all of that in my basic editing tutorial and in my advanced editing tutorial. It's a wrap, people. You know the routine. Do me a favor. The thumb, the one that's pointed in the upward direction, click it, like it, live it, love it, hug it. Show the thumb some love. Comments. You know I love comments, and you know when you give me questions, I give you answers. Go ahead, leave me your comments. Tell me a little bit about what you think of the new version of Pinnacle Studio 18, all right? Tell me what you think it should have that it doesn't have so that the people at Pinnacle Corel can get an idea of what you want. And last, but definitely not least, don't you ever forget to subscribe, baby. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.